Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel all about BI. In this session I'm going to tell you something about script activity in Data Factory. Okay, there is a recent update to the activities list. We have got a new activity called script activity. I'm going to tell you where to use it, how to use it, the do's and don'ts, basically all about script activity. Okay, those who are well versed with SSIS, right, or those who are working in SSIS, they would be comparing it with script task in SSIS. Okay, in SSIS we use this script task for performing customized activity using C# script or VB script, right? So basically whatever is not achievable using the toolbox, we will be using script task, right? But with respect to ADF, the script activity is not exactly the same. Okay, in ADF it is purely meant for executing SQL statements. Okay, whether it is DDL or DML statements. Alright, so you can ask me why do we have this activity when we have the lookup activity? Lookup activity also lets us execute DML statements, a select statement, everything. But why do we have this new activity launched? So the answer to that is, whenever we are using lookup activity to perform any DML activity, we will be appending the script with some dummy statement like select one, like that. We have to append it. Only then the lookup activity is going to succeed. Okay, this is a glitch in lookup activity. Even though it's not a very big thing to be worried, it's not the right way we execute scripts, right? So they introduced a new activity called script activity, which is purely meant for executing DML statements and DDL statements. Okay, we can execute as many number of statements as possible by passing parameters and all, input parameters, output parameters and all, and we have so many facilities with the new activity. That's what I'm going to tell you, what and all is possible and what and all is not possible. Okay, we have these two pages from Microsoft documentation that explains us end to end about this activity. Okay, the first thing that we need to consider is which sources are supported when we use the script activity. Okay, so when we talk about lookup activity, right, you know that lookup activity is meant for looking up some data, whether it is from a table, database table, or it is from a file. We can make use of this lookup activity, right? But with respect to script activity, this is not supporting files and all. Okay, right now it is only supporting databases, that too Oracle, SQL, SQL Server, Azure SQL database. Like that, we have only support for databases, which is the list is mentioned here. Azure SQL database, Synapse Analytics, SQL Server database. The SQL Server database is nothing but the on-prem SQL Server that we use normally, which is out of cloud, right? And apart from that, Oracle and Snowflake, these are the supported data sources on top of which we can make use of the script activity. Okay, this is number one. And when and all, what and all we can do. So this is the supported list of sources. Apart from this, what and all we can do, you can truncate a table or view in preparation for inserting data. We will want to clean up or cleanse the table before we want to insert something, right? So you can make use of the script activity for doing that. You can create, alter, drop database objects such as tables and views. This is DDL. So basically DDL and DML statements, you can do that. And you can run stored procedures as well, which can receive input parameters and which can give output parameters also. And save the row set return from a query as activity output for downstream consumption. Alright, so I'm going to execute a select statement. It's going to give me a result set. I can access that result set in the downstream activities. Okay, so I'll also tell you how to use that in the downstream activities. So whichever is possible I'll cover today. If the video is going to be too long, I'll cut it into or split it into two parts. Alright. Okay, so this is the main documentation page, and here is where we have the blog written by Abhishek, wherein we have a detailed comparison of script activity, lookup activity, as well as sproc activity, which is nothing but the stored procedure activity. So I request you to go through this table in order to have a clear-cut details about what is supported in which activity or which is suitable for your requirement. Okay, this is a pretty straightforward table. I don't want to spend time here, but it is a very useful and insightful table. Okay, I request you to go through this when you get some time. Alright, so coming back to the script activity. So it is available under general activities. So here you have the script activity, drag and drop a script activity, and once you drag it and drop it, you will have to have a link service created for it. Link service is nothing but it is the one which is going to help you connect to the data source, right? As I told you, when you click on new link service, you will be seeing only a very limited number of link services available, because right now the script activity can work only on top of certain databases like Azure SQL database, Oracle, Snowflake, etc. Okay, as and when they have a new update, we will see more connectors here. Okay, so this is the first step in using the script activity. Create a link service pointing to your data source. After that, you have something called query or non-query. What is the difference between query and non-query? Non-query I'll touch upon first. When you're not going to return something from your database script, you will have to choose the non-query. Okay, for example, I'm going to do some insert or update. Okay, for example, insert, update or delete statement. Otherwise, I can also query the structure of the table. So this kind of information is not going to return me any result set. Okay, whenever we are not going to select anything, we will be making use of this non-query. On the other hand, if you want to select something that is going to return you some result set, then make use of the query option. Okay, this is the difference between query and non-query options. As you can see here, we have a plus button here which lets us have as many scripts as possible under one script activity itself. You need not have multiple script activities if you have to execute multiple SQL statements consecutively. Okay, this is for providing more and more SQL statement in the same script activity. Why we have this facility is, see, as I told you, script activity lets us use parameters. For example, I have a table called customer copy or customer table, in which I need to select some customer ID alone or customer first name, where first name is Sachin. If I say this, this is nothing but the parameter. The first name is nothing but it's kind of a filter or parameter that is going to work on top of this table and give us the result, right? So I can have multiple select statements like the select star from customer where designation equal to captain. Okay, so I have to execute different SQL statements with different filters or parameters in my script activity. So for that case, what I will be doing is I will be going on adding the SQL statements by clicking plus. So in the first SQL statement, I will put my first select query. Okay, and I'll show you one example for that. I'm going to do this. I'm just copying, and my table name is customer copy, and it resides in my DBO schema where first name is Sachin. This is direct hard coding, so I will show you how to use it from the parameter. So first name is, I have to click script parameters here and then click on new, and then I will say first name. Okay, value is test or something. Okay, direction, this is for passing parameters to procedures. Okay, we'll have input parameters and output parameters, right? So in case you want to pass some parameters to your procedure, make use of the direction attribute. Alright, so I have declared a parameter called first name and I want to make use of it in my query like first name. So what it will be doing, it will be selecting the result set, it will be selecting the records from customer copy table where the first name is test. Okay, so this is one query. If I want to have another query likewise, I will add one more option and I will just copy paste this guy. So I'm pasting it where designation. For this I am adding one more parameter. This time the parameter name is going to be designation. Okay, so this is the flexibility in having multiple script with different parameters. So we need not keep on adding multiple script activities for it. So I'll say designation value is captain. Okay, and I will have to pass it like @designation. So add as many SQL statement as possible with customized parameters. Okay, so this is with respect to executing select statements with parameters. Okay, so with respect to SQL Server only, we can pass parameters like this using at followed by the parameter name. If you are using Oracle or Snowflake, we cannot make use of the parameters like this. So it will be something like question mark. Okay, so for example, select star from customer where designation is the first parameter and first name is one more question mark. So what this question mark means is the first question mark means the first parameter given under. Okay, so the second question mark refers to the second parameter that we have given. Alright, so it will be taking it in the same order. The first the index refers to the same order. We are mentioning question mark in the select query. So the first question mark will resolve to index 1, second question mark will resolve to index 2. This is with respect to Oracle tables. Okay, if it is a SQL Server table, we need not make use of this question mark. We can directly mention the name of the parameter itself. Alright, okay, so let us go to the next thing in script activity. So I think I made it clear between query, non-query, and how to use this plus for customizing your parameter. Everything I covered. I'll come little bit down. There is something called advanced section here. Here we have the option to log the execution results or execution output. So whenever we have a large script, okay, SQL script, right, we tend to use print statements that is going to give us some logging information. Okay, before executing some merge, after executing some merge, how many records affected, what is the issue we are facing, what is the identity value generated. We can log any information then and there in SQL script, right? So in order to capture those output logs, we can make use of this enable logging option. So if I click that, it will be asking where to enable or where to log your execution output. So I am clicking this. It will be asking me where should I log the script output. Script log output is nothing but the print statements that we have in our select queries or any statement, SQL statement. Okay, so in order to capture, we have two options. One is I can write those output logs to a file in data lake storage, or I can simply look at the output in the activity output. Activity output, we all know that whenever we run a pipeline, output gets generated and it's shown under activity output, right? So if you want to have the results persistent, you need to make use of the external storage. Okay, so why there is two options here that I have to answer that. So normally if your output logs is exceeding 2 MB, okay, suppose you have hundreds of SQL statements with lots of logging information provided then and there, it might exceed 2 MB. Okay, right now 2 MB is the limit. If it exceeds, you will not tend to see all the log information. Okay, so that's why they are providing this external storage option wherein there is no limit for storing the log information. If you are choosing activity output, it can only have the log information up to 2 MB. Okay, if your script is generating more than 2 MB, make use of the external storage. Okay, where the results will be persistent. Alright, so if you choose external storage, you will have to choose the link service of the data lake storage. So I'm just selecting my link service. Once you choose the link service, it is going to ask where to save your logs to. Basically the container name and the folder name. Okay, so that is the only thing that I had under script activity. I'll just choose under demo container. If I want to log all the information, I can choose demo container itself, the container name. Okay, so this is about the settings. I'll also show you after executing how it's going to work. Okay, so if I choose external storage, the log information will be stored under the folder that we are mentioning under script activity logs. This folder will automatically be created. Under the folder, you will have one folder for each script that you have in your pipeline. Okay, suppose you have 3 scripts named script 1, script 2, script 3. You will have 3 folders here. So inside the script folder, you will have various folders. This is nothing but the run ID. Whenever we are running our pipeline, one run ID will be generated, which is a unique identifier for that run. So in that run ID itself, a folder will be created, and you can look at the log results. Okay. This is an append block. So append block. So when I say that, I cannot edit and look at the information from the portal itself. I have to download my file and then I have to look at the content. So only blobs can be edited from the portal and viewed from the portal. Append blobs are not supported to be opened from the portal. So if I download and look at the data, I can see what log information has been logged here. So I had 2 print statements in my script activity. I'm just looking at it. Okay. So why is it append block and not blob? Okay. So in case you have different scripts, as I told you, multiple scripts under same script activity. For example, 10 select statements maybe. Each select statement can have its own set of print statements. Okay, all those print statements will be appended in one single file, like I showed you now. So that's why it keeps on appending the information in that single file, and it will be a complete log information for all the select statements that we have in our script activity. Okay, that's why these are append blobs. All right. So apart from that, one more information I wanted to share here. I'll just show you some execution output. Okay, I executed one simple select query. So what are the attributes? Normally each output or each activity output can be accessed in the next set of subsequent activities using previous activity name dot value, output dot value. Okay, but with respect to script activity, there is nothing called value. Okay, all the results are present under result set property. Okay, so if you are trying to use the result sets or select output in for each activity next to the script activity, for example, you have a script activity which brings some 100 records. Okay, and you want to loop through that using a for each activity. So inside for each activity, there is a property called items. Normally what we will mention is @activity followed by the activity name dot output dot value. So this is the syntax that we provide for accessing the results of the previous array or previous activity output. Okay, but when you look at the output of the script activity, there is nothing called value, but everything is grouped under result set. Okay, result sets is an array. We can have as many number of results as possible, right? If you have 10 select statement, number of results set is going to be 10. Okay, for example, 10 select statements. All right, so result set count is 1 means there is only one select statement. Records affected 0 means there is no DML activity involved, and followed by that the actual result set. If you have 5 result sets, there will be 5 indexes or 5 elements inside the result set array. Okay, so under each result set, you will see the row count followed by the actual rows itself in the JSON format. So at the end of the result set, what you will be having is output parameter. If there are any output parameters from the script activity, we can see that here. Okay, output logs is nothing but since we chose external storage to log our output logs, there is nothing shown here. If you are choosing activity output, you will be seeing the print statement values present here. Okay, so output logs location is nothing but the container where I wanted to store my log information. All right, output truncated. What is this? See, like lookup activity, we have a size limit for the script activity as well. You can return maximum of 5000 rows, or 4 MB, I think. So there is a size limit as well as the records limit. So if it exceeds that, if my select query is going to return more than 5000 records, it's going to truncate my output. It's not going to show me all the results in the activity output. Okay, so that is why it shows there is a property that indicates that output is truncated or not because of size limit or row count limit. Alright, apart from that, we don't have anything much specific to be discussed here. So I'll show you some use case in the next session, maybe for executing SQL statements as well as stored procedures with input and output parameter. So this video is getting longer, so let's cut it short here, and we'll catch up in the next video to show some live demo. Okay, if you have questions in the meanwhile, I request you to post it in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I request you to do so. Thanks a lot for watching. Keep supporting.